Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Sandy with Mimi's Abundant Life, and today I'm going to ask you a question. How do you like yours? How do you like your coffee? Do you like it in a glass with lots of ice in the summer? Do you like it in a nice hot mug that keeps it really warm in the winter? Do you drink hot coffee in the summer? Do you drink iced coffee in the winter all year long? That's what we're going to talk about. Today, I'm going to show you how I make coffee and my preferences. Now, there's a lot of things going around the internet, but we don't know if the grid's going to go down or, there's a storm and you lose your power. And we rely on so many things that are electric. The Keurig coffee pots, the drip pots, the percolator pots, just different things that we take for granted that, they're always going to be available to us. But that's not true. And coffee is one of the main things, like everyone in the morning, you either have to have your tea or your coffee. But today we're going to focus on coffee. My dad brought us up drinking coffee like this. Okay? This is his original pot. I think him and my mom must have got this when they were married. It is I don't even know how many cups. It says it makes 5 cups, but they mean cups. They don't mean like 8-ounce cups. They mean like a 5-ounce coffee cup. No one uses coffee cups anymore, but there was a time when we used to, with cup and saucer. You never served coffee unless there was a saucer. But I fill this up with water to that 5-cup mark, okay? And I put my coffee in here. How do I measure my coffee? Good question. Mom had one of these from the 60s, chock full of nuts. She used to have several of them. This is the last of the Mohegans, and I will take this to the grave with me. I love this thing. We used to just measure scoops. Some people go teaspoon, tablespoon. How much do you put? I don't know. I use a scoop. Technically, I think this is about a tablespoon and a half. So maybe I can put that in the description below if I remember. I keep my coffee in a canister. It is not true that you have to keep it in the refrigerator. It is good for a long time after the Best By date. So now I'll put my water in my pot. Now, technically I go a little bit above because I like to make like 6 cups. I just like, it's even. So then I'll take 3 scoops. So now you got your water in your pot. You put your little Stanley basket in there. My mother taught me this when I was very small. Put your finger over the top so the coffee grounds don't get into the water. And I measure 3 scoops. 1, 2, 3. And another thing she taught me, always shake it to make it even. You put your little screen basket cover on top. You put your cover on it. And you put it on your stove top. Now, I like to keep it on medium. I don't want to put it too high because I don't want the flames coming up to the sides of the pot. I don't ever want to ruin this pot. So I keep it on medium, and usually after about 5 minutes, you'll notice that it's starting to perk. You'll see little bits of water coming up through here. At that point, you want to put it on low. What I do, the way I prefer my coffee, is I let a pot like this with 3 scoops, 6 cups of water, coffee cups of water, and 3 scoops of coffee, which is Maxwell House, which is the only brand I'll use. I let it perk for 3 minutes. And then I turn the flame off, or I will move it to another burner. And you got to let it sit a minute because this has been boiling up and coming down, boiling up and coming down. So it has to settle. If you pour it too soon, you will get coffee grounds in your coffee. Coffee will be great, but I don't like coffee grounds in my coffee. So that's one way to make it. Now, when I have company, I don't want to make 5 of these. This is good for me for 2.5 mugs in the morning. Okay? So if I have company, I was like, what am I going to do? Because I was so tired of the Fiberware electric pots. They're okay for a couple of years and then they break. So I went on to Amazon and I bought a, I don't know, this 12 cup, 10 or 12, 10 cup, I think, of a stovetop fiberware per pot. Do it the same way. You fill it up to the desired amount with water. You put your basket in here. You put your coffee in. And you put your cover on. And you let it perk. Now this takes a long time to perk because obviously it's a bigger pot. So there's more water. I think what a good way to make your coffee like this is to keep in mind that if you're making, let's say, 8 cups, you want it to perk for about 4 minutes. You're going to have to play with it and experiment a little bit because everybody has their own preference. I find that if I'm making 10 cups, I let it perk 6 minutes. For some reason, it's odd. It's not 5 cups, 5 minutes. This pot, however, is 3 cups, or 6 cups, 3 minutes. So you divide it in half. If you're making 12 cups, you want it to perk for 6 minutes. If you're making 10 cups, you'd like it to perk for 5. If you're making 3 cups, or 6 cups technically, in this, let it perk for 3 minutes. So this is how I like my coffee. Now, if SHTF does happen, and it's happened around here before, we've lost power first thing in the morning. No one likes it. Okay, but the neighbors know where to go because guess who's got the real old-fashioned coffee pot? Me. I have it. So I am never without my morning coffee, ever. And another good idea is if you have, I want to say an open fire pit, but I imagine you'd have to put a grate, something over it because you don't want this to get too hot. You could make it outside. You could also make this on a gas grill, and I've done that before. I was sitting outside on a cool night and had some guests over, and we sat out there and we made a nice pot of coffee, and we just enjoyed the cool fall weather. It was beautiful. So there is nothing beats real perked coffee. The smell, the taste, it just brings you way back. Your whole house will smell like coffee. And yeah, so I think that I'm going to give this little video, make this a little tribute to my mom. My mom was Armenian and Turkish and Middle Eastern, and coffee was a big deal for them. And back in the olden days, like I'm talking 1,000 years ago, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, a man could provide for his wife if he could provide enough coffee. If you couldn't provide enough coffee for your wife or your fiance, then you weren't suitable. Let's just say that. So coffee is a big commodity. And my mom used to, when she was 2 years old, she used to stand up on a stool on her stove and make the Turkish coffee in the little brass coffee pots with a long handle. So I don't know if I know how to, she taught me how to make it, and I'm trying to remember. If I do remember it, I will make it another video. I think that'd be very interesting. But this is something that's great on a cold winter morning. This coffee never really tastes left over. If there's some left in the pot, you can just take this basket out, okay? And then just reheat it low if you want another cup of hot coffee. Same thing with this pot. If you'd like it for iced coffee, let it cool, pour it in a glass, put it in the refrigerator, and it's going to taste as good as it did the day before. So if SHTF does happen, you don't have to give up your coffee. You could do it on a fireplace, a fire pit, your gas grill, your charcoal grill, or your stovetop if you have a gas stove. You can use them on electric stoves, but we're talking if there's no electricity. I hope this was helpful. I hope that everyone learned a little something about coffee and how I make it. And this all came about because I did a video on this coffee pot. I had done a short video. And one of my friends sent me a message on there and asked, I need the recipe. How much coffee do you put? How much water? And I'm like, I really don't know because I use scoops. So if you don't have an old-fashioned coffee scoop, like the red one I have in here, then you can use the tablespoon. I do believe that they measure a tablespoon and a half of coffee. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Please show me you appreciate the video. Give me a big fat thumbs up. And I do love you. And I want to give you back a big virtual hug and ask you to please join my community. I am building up my subscribers, and my subscriptions are getting way up there, and I want to keep going. Okay, so I want to hit 300 by the end of the month. I love you all. God bless you. And go have a cup of coffee.